Oh, the British and the French are continuing their never-ending story in the English Channel. By the way, never-ending story. Well, I hope it's a very ending story, but just for your information, because many were interested in this, don't know if you can see this. I got my first jab of BioNTech today. So if you were thinking about if it's really a good thing to do that, or if you were afraid of doing that, I had absolute no problem at all. And I'm very, well, let's say, problematic when it's about syringes, but I didn't even feel that. The lady at my doctor's was really great, and I don't have any problems so far, and I had to wait there if there's any allergic reaction, and I am someone with a lot of allergies, and so there was no trouble at all. I could leave completely healthy and feeling well, and it's a few hours ago that I got the jab, and I feel fine. So if you had worries, perhaps I can help you get rid of those worries, but I'm absolutely fine. And I am fine, but let's say relationship between the French and the British isn't, because the British and the French are playing an absurd power game over fishing licenses. For seafarers, it is about existence. For Emmanuel Macron, about political survival. Camille Lecuré no longer wants to talk. He now wants to catch fish. I have to go back to sea, says the man from Les Moitiers d'Allon in Normandy in northern France. For days, he has only been busy fighting for his waters on which he has been traveling for decades to catch scallops, whelks, mackerel, sea wolves and plaice. He was there when dozens of French fishermen tried to block the British island of Jersey on Thursday morning, a good hour's boat ride west of his village. He is dog-tired, says Lecuré. After 3 minutes, he abruptly ended the phone call, and his colleagues weren't more talkative either when he was interviewed by German press. Within the last few days, they had become protagonists in a power game between Great Britain and France. The sea between the British island of Jersey and mainland France has long since become something of a trophy. Great Britain Prime Minister Boris Johnson and French President Emmanuel Macron argue here over who can better assert his national interests in Europe. When French and British fishing trawlers faced each other in front of the port of Saint-Hélier on Jersey last Thursday, the two governments did not hesitate to send ships for their part, but this time warlike ones. The British sent 2 patrol boats to the Channel Island, the French 2 naval ships. In essence, it is about the licenses French seafarers need to fish in British waters. According to the Brexit agreement, they are allowed to do so for another 5.5 years. This clause is not to be renegotiated until June 2026. However, only a short paragraph 130 is devoted to fisheries in the document. It says that the UK will be consulted on fishing opportunities related to the UK during the transitional period. French fishermen have always needed licenses for British waters, and it is precisely for these that there is a gap in the Brexit treaty. It does not specify which types of fish and which precise zones in the sea the licenses relate to. London took advantage of this loophole and provided the French with unusable licenses. One fisherman, for example, is said to have received a permit for only 7 hours a year, while another got a permit for scallops that he has not caught in his entire life. That is what Hugo Léuby from the Fisheries Committee of the French region of Normandy tells the German journalists. There are also now regulations as to what type of ships are allowed. They make life difficult for us, he says. So far, only a little more than 40 licenses out of 344 requested have been issued. But the two countries, separated by the sea, are interdependent. France, for example, supplies the electricity for Jersey. The French Navy Minister Annick Girardin threatened to turn off the electricity on the British Isles with around 100,000 inhabitants if they did not let the fishermen do their work, as agreed in the Brexit treaty. His colleague, Macron's Minister of Commerce, Frank Riester, even declared the British licenses to be null and void. The government will not deviate from its line. The British, on the other hand, say some applicants did not indicate how much they caught between 2017 and 2020, but that is the basis of the new licenses. That was the only reason why they came away empty-handed. The economic importance of these few hundred fishing boats is negligible. So the question arises, why are Macron's ministers speaking out on this conflict on numerous radio and television programs? In France, fishing has become a political symbol. It is about being close to the people, comparable to the former coal miners in Germany. French politicians get into small wooden fishing boats, just as German politicians with helmets and miners' uniforms descended into the shafts. Pastimes are evoked that have never been as idyllic as claimed. Nevertheless, many French people mourn a non-globalized world with local fish and cutters in the port instead of container ships. In France, there was even a party that literally called itself Hunting, Fishing, Nature and Tradition and had a member of parliament. Today, they are part of the conservative Republicans. But no one can put on a wax sailor's jacket as well as the right-wing extremist Marine Le Pen. A few years ago, she described fishing as a symbol of the abysses of Europe. At the same time as the protesting fishermen, she was out on a small motorboat last Thursday. She was campaigning with her candidate for the upcoming regional elections in Brittany. Already in 2017, a few days before the decisive second ballot with Emmanuel Macron, she sailed on a small fishing boat on the Atlantic. A picture perfectly staged for television and a great contrast to Macron, who spoke to young fans from the startup scene at the same time. Scenes like this will certainly happen again this year. France will elect a new president in a year. Macron and Le Pen will likely make it back to the second ballot. The military boats have since withdrawn, but the political conflict between France and Great Britain is far from over. Fischer Lecureuil says he wants to keep fighting if the licenses are not quickly and sufficiently issued. In the coming months, the EU will have to negotiate the fishing quotas with Great Britain again. Too many details are still unclear. But that's not all. French fishermen recently blocked the French port of Boulogne to prevent British fishermen from importing goods. Brexit is now also threatening the common fish markets. From seawater to dinner plates, fishermen on both sides of the English Channel fight for their sovereignty. Sovereignty. I heard that word before. Where could that have been? And who in recent times made fishing, although it's economically not that important, such a big issue that almost deals wouldn't have happened because of it? Perhaps you know. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel. I really would love you to do that. And of course, watch my videos if you find them interesting. And then a like, I don't mind either. I hope to see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.